Welcome back, everybody, to our continued coverage of Batman Gotham City Chronicles. Today we are going to do our best to do a full playthrough here of one of the scenarios. The name of this scenario is called An Icy Welcome. I believe it's like the fourth scenario in the book. And one of the reasons why I chose this scenario is that, first of all, it actually plays with only one hero. So this would be one of the just two-player scenario examples, where normally one player will be playing the villains and the henchmen, and the other player would be playing the single hero. You can always play with two players straight out of the box. The one player playing the heroes just has to control sometimes multiple heroes. What we're going to do today is show off how the solo AI works. So I'll be controlling both Batman, and then I have a series of cards over here that I have described in a previous video. So if you want to go check that out just on how the solo AI works, I also have a previous video that covers, how to get through the game and basic gameplay elements. So, the objectives of this scenario are twofold, and that's another reason why I chose it. The villains can get to these 1, 2, and 3 computer terminals here and activate them to what's called put down cryogenic tokens, which essentially creates like an icy mess for Batman to have to move through dangerous terrain. Then there are these bombs, which Batman is actually going to be arming. So a little bit backwards from the norm. Usually he's disarming them, but in this scenario, he has to activate up to 3 of them. So there's 5 options on the board, and it's going to take a complex manipulation difficulty of 4. So I had 2 Batman options I could choose from: Batman 0 Year and Batman 100 Year, or Year 100. And I ended up going with Batman 0 Year because I don't know if you can see it way down here, but this little symbol right here means that I already get an automatic success towards my 4 difficulty complex manipulation. So essentially I'm just going to be needing to get 3 successes each time I attempt to arm a bomb. And if I can arm 3 of them before let's see, how many rounds do I get? Okay, 8 rounds, which is a lot. I'm going to get 8 rounds to arm 3 bombs, and at any point I do that, I will be successful. The main villain in this specific scenario is Mr. Freeze. There is a nice close-up of Mr. Freeze there. He's hanging out here in this one subway car with one of the bombs. You can also see that on the river here, he actually gets 2 tiles. So when you activate him once, there's actually more opportunity to see him more often. He's got a health of 4. Everybody else has a health of 1. I have Batman kitted out with a few things here. I've got him with the taser gun and brass knuckles. These were scenario specific for Batman, and they don't hinder him at all. And between these 2 and his regular stats, I'm pretty deadly melee. Basically all I have to do is get past the standard defense of any of these henchmen, and I take them off the board immediately. They'll have no opportunity to roll for defense. I also equipped myself with a grappling hook. This, plus my already parkour 2, basically means that I'm going to be able to move all over this map wherever I want to go, up and down the walls, as quickly as I want to. That way I should be able to drop down, arm a bomb, and then get out of sight again and run for cover. Another nice thing about this Batman is he recovers 3 cubes at the start of every turn, and also for this scenario I get to start with them all. Normally you go ahead and start with some in your fatigued zone. So I think this is what my strategy, and I just hinted at it a second ago, Oh, and I also have batarangs, just in case I need to make a a ranged attack. You have to have a ranged weapon in your arsenal in order to make a ranged attack. So you can't just spend cubes here if you have nothing to throw. So I have my batarangs, which are not amazing, but they can work in a pinch if I need to throw something. So one thing about this game, whether you're playing solo AI versus the solo AI or versus an individual, you really need to think strategy. Everybody's out there. This is not a dungeon crawler where you're gonna go and enter in a door, clear a room, walk to the next door, clear a room, walk to the next door. This is a tactical strategy dice chucker. There's a lot of dice, rolling dice in this game, and that can hurt you. So what I think my strategy is going to be is to go after these 1, 2, 3, because this blue guy here is Batman. He's up above right now, and he's behind this wall. There's a wall right there, so he's actually hidden. If anybody were to want to take a shot at them, they would literally have to come all the way up here to be able to shoot down the aisle. So I think I'm going to go over here. There's a break in the wall right here. I'm going to drop down, take care of these two guys, focus on arming this bomb, and then get back up onto the wall. Use the wall all the way around until I can then drop down right here. Since this is there is the unique aspect of putting down the cryogenic tokens, I'm simply going to say that the henchmen, and if any of them make it to a computer and activate cryogenic tokens, they're going to prioritize putting a cryogenic token in the spots with the bombs. So there's 5 bombs, and there's opportunity to put out 6 cryogenic tokens. So that 6th one, I'll just put it randomly. I guess maybe I could put it in the spot where Batman is. I'm not sure if that's really the best way to do it. I guess I could always focus on where Batman is and put the token in Batman's space. If that's the situation, since it's adding dangerous terrain, I would have to roll a yellow die every time because it's only a single dangerous terrain. So I don't know. We'll think about that. And then Mr. Freeze, he can also put ice down. So there's going to be a lot of ice and difficult terrain. But I've got difficult terrain level 1, so the ice really shouldn't bother me at all. It's just the cryogenic ice is dangerous. So we're going to go ahead and get started here with round 1. The hero does get priority. So again, I get to spend my movement however I so choose. So obviously I already talked about wanting to come down here. So I could go 1 here and drop down 2 for here. Remember, my parkour basically allows me to ignore all of the climbing and falling levels and things like that because I have my grappling hook and parkour 2 on a regular basis. The question is whether I want to attempt to take this guy out right away, or if I should just jump in here and take this guy out and then take a shot at the bomb. I'm all by myself here, so I need to strategically rest when I'm behind cover so that I'm just not getting assaulted, because a lot of these guys are just going to flood towards me here at any given moment. So I think maybe we should take out guys when we can. I have a base movement of 2, which you can see here on my board, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move 2 and come down into this guy's space. Now, as I said before, I am pretty deadly when it comes to melee attacks, so I'm just going to... This guy is a pretty easy thug. He's only got 1 defense, and so as long as I can hit him or just get 2 hits on him, he's going to be knocked off without any chance to retaliate. So I've got 1 white die with my brass knuckles. I've got 1 yellow die with my taser gun, and then 1 orange die, and then another orange die with my base melee stat. And one of these orange die, this melee orange die, is going to be able to be re-rolled. So here we go. Okay. Now that looks pretty poor. I do get to re-roll an orange die. So, alright, and that definitely helps. Even if I had been left with just the 2, what I've done is I have surpassed the thug's defensive value with 1. I also have martial arts, so as long as I have 1, I get an additional success. So essentially this 2 becomes a 3. I easily surpass his defensive value, and so then the taser gun inflicts an automatic wound that is applied before the villain would be able to roll defense. And for all of the henchmen, that just simply knocks them out. So we're going to remove him from the board. He'll go over here into the villain pool. All right, now I am going to go ahead and spend 1 movement to come on into this room here with this guy. And this guy is has a defense of 2. He also has retaliate 2. But that's interesting. Is he going to retaliate with? And I think if I can knock him out, he won't get a chance to retaliate. Because he's ranged, so does he just take a shot at me with the shotgun? So I definitely need to hit this guy. I can't mess around. So we're going to do 2, which is essentially just going to add an orange dice to my attack here, and I'll be able to reroll 2 out of the orange dice. And again, I'm just looking for 3 hits here. 3 successes. All right, and I got them. I technically could reroll these. I got plenty of them. I'm pretty sure I'm playing this correctly, that since I went ahead and completely knocked him out, he does not get the opportunity to counterattack, which is this symbol here, and he's got his point blank symbol. But I think since I just took him out right away, he doesn't get any of those effects. All right, and then the last thing we're going to do here, we're spending a lot on our first turn, but the old guys will see my strategy here in a minute, is go ahead and spend 3 for that complex manipulation. Remember, we have to get 4, but we have an automatic 1. So I just need 3 out of these, and I don't have any re-rolls. All right, so we got our 3 exactly. Perfect, that's all we needed. So I get to replace this token here with a fun little bomb miniature. So that is 1. I'm a third of the way there just in round 1. So we're doing good. And at this point, I am going to rest. So I take all of these tokens here and move them into my fatigue zone. Now let's move Batman out of the way here, and we will make sure our AI cards are nice and shuffled. All right, so the first AI card we're going to see states, let's kind of tuck it off to the side here, we're going to do a 1 and 1. All right, so at the beginning of the round, we get to go ahead and recover up to 3. There's only 2 over there. That's how the scenario set us up. And then we're going to immediately pay 1 of those to activate this number 1 tile. We'll slide everything down, and the thugs with hats now get to activate. So using these solo AI rules, the thugs with hats are going to attempt a ranged attack. Well, they don't have a ranged attack. That's blank. So then they're going to try and push the villain objective, which is perfect for them because they are one of the few people that have the thought manipulation action. You can see Mr. Freeze has it, and that's it. And these guys. So that means that all of our thugs with hats, and there's only 3 left because I took 1 out, are going to head towards the closest computer. They're actually not going to go towards Batman. So let's see here, just starting up here, there's this guy, and the closest computer must be this one. 1, 2, it costs him more to come out of here, so this would be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the faster way. So he can go 1, 2. Oh, 3. He's got a movement of 3. So he is advancing towards this computer here. Then our next thug with a hat is in the train here, so he can come out of the train. And then it's a difficult terrain, so you actually have to spend his last 2 movements to get right here. And our last thug is right here. This is a wall, so he's going to have to come out. And I guess since this guy's already going here, it would make sense that he start heading for this one. So he'll just go 1, 2, and 3. So he's headed for that computer. But that is essentially all they're going to do. This isn't Zombicide where everybody just heads for Batman. There are things the villains can do. So that takes care of this first line, and this card just happens to activate both number 1 slots. So very cheap first turn for the solo AI. So now we're going to activate our brutes with firearms, or as I like to say, the brutes with ponytails. So these guys are going to attempt to do a melee. Not going to happen. They only have a shotgun. I don't know why. They look pretty strong. Then they would advance the villain objective, which they don't have the ability, they're not smart enough to use the computer. So the last thing is they're going to take a ranged action, and obviously that's going to be on Batman. They also have a movement of 3. So let's start up here. Here's our first guy, and they'll just head towards Batman. 1, 2, 3. I know from checking that you can only shoot into this room from this space here. So this guy is still out of range. This guy will also, he's going to come out here, and this is probably the fastest route, even though this is all difficult terrain. I guess he could go into here, 2, 3, and then he would come out here. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to go that way. If he goes this way, he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so coming through the train is actually quicker. Let's see here. And they only started with 3 of these guys and I already took one out. So that is the extent of the solo AI's turn. So actually a pretty good turn for me, since I took out the one that was right there on top of me. Okay, so now this should have been flipped over, but we are on round 2 now. So let's see, I could just take a mad dash for these, but I think what I want to do is, you know, I've got 8 rounds, and so I don't need to rush it. So let's see, what can we do here with Batman? We can use his 2 base movement to get up to here. 1, 2, because I have the grappling hook, I can scale that wall in nothing. And then I can use my, I think I will actually use my, let's get this out of the way. All right, so we've used our base movement to get up there, and now I think I'm just going to use a heavy dose of Batarangs. So you can see Batarangs is adding a yellow die, but I'm actually, whoops, and I should have recovered 3 cubes right off the bat. And I'm going to go ahead and spend those 3 cubes, which is my max, on a Batarang shot at this thug here. Now, hopefully I am able to take care of him because he gets to retaliate. So that will be a quick question that I think I have to address here, is how he might be able to retaliate. So let's go ahead and roll these out and just see what we can do here. All right, so that's an excellent roll right off the bat, and I do get to re-roll this one because there's that little symbol on the battering ram. So even better. So that is 6 total. Definitely crushing this brute. But I don't have any of my automatic wound symbols on my Batarangs. Now, since I am hitting him for 6 and he has a defensive value of 2, if I'd only hit him for 3, the solo AI would have placed a cube up here placed a cube up here to roll a single defense die. But that's only if I was defeating him by 1 more than his basic defense, which is 2. So if I had been 3. 6, I'm crushing him. I don't even think a real person would try and defend one little henchman. But let me go ahead and take a quick second to determine whether or not he gets to retaliate from a distance. So give me 1 second. Okay, so as I suspected, the counterattack is only for a melee attack and returning a melee attack. I'm really not sure how that works because they don't have melee dice to roll. So I don't know if that was a mistake on their part, if I'm missing something. Maybe they just get to roll like a single yellow die or something like that. But if I had gotten up in his face, he would have counterattacked. So my batarangs don't go away. They're like an infinite use weapon. I'm going to spend one more cube to move one more space and get behind this wall, because the next round I'm actually going to rest. So I'm done. I'm going to end my turn, be official, and flip that over. And we will draw another AI card. So round 2. All right, so now we're doing tile 3. I forgot we need to move these over 3 at a time. So 3 is going to be thugs with firearms. So you can see that these guys actually have the complex manipulation stat. So they would be able to arm bombs if they were actually arming bombs in this scenario. But they don't have that option, so instead they're going to defend the villain objective, which would be the computers. So they wanted to defend the computers, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I'm going to push to the next one. The next is complete a melee action, which they don't have either. And the last one does make sense. They're going to advance on the closest hero. There is only one on the board. Now, this is why I hid myself on the wall, because it's going to take a lot for these guys, and these guys only have 2 movement, so they're all just going to move towards me. 1, and then 2. It's going to take them more to get out of there. This guy's going to go 1 and 2 as well. And this guy will go 1, and then he's stuck in here because he needs 2 more to get out. And he's only got 1 more point of movement. So they're all hanging out in the train tracks. For those of you who can't really see it, the artwork is really nice, but this map is very dark. But essentially you have these train cars which have the tops cut out so you can see into them. But these are like train tracks, and this is like the platform of a, subway cars, I guess, more like subway cars. So when you hop down here, which is nothing, it takes you a little more effort to climb back out. Okay, so that was theirs. We're gonna pay our 3 cubes to have paid for them, and they go to the end of the line. And then we're gonna activate number 1, which is Mr. Freeze. So, Mr. Freeze here has a melee action. He can access the computers, and so he wants to do a melee action on Batman. Now, he's got these grenades for 2, ice, and this explosion. So let me figure out what it all Mr. Freeze would be doing to us. Okay, so I figured it out. Mr. Freeze normally just has a melee attack, but he can use a complex manipulation where he's rolling a white die and an orange die, where he can throw an explosion. Let me double check here, making sure I'm getting this right. He can throw a grenade, a level 2 explosion in a targeted area by performing a complex manipulation. Its difficulty is equal to the distance the level of explosion is triggered near located distance. Okay, so essentially he can throw a grenade, but he's got to get the number of successes equal to the distance it is away from me. Or this bottom one means he can do automatic complex manipulation, which just means he spends 1 energy cube, I guess, and he can throw it down in his area. Either way, he's putting down frost 1 here, which means it would just last 1 turn. That just adds difficult terrain, and I'm not too worried about it, but that's kind of his thing, so that's what we're going to say he's going to go after. So, if I were the villain player, I would, let's see, he's got a movement of 2, which is not that great. So I'd go 1, 2, everybody's down here in the subway, and he's going to try and launch a grenade up to 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I would do, because I can't melee attack him, so I'm going to try and hit him from range with my explosion here. So let's just see how this turns out. He's rolling a orange and a white. these out of there. Okay, so he got 2 successes. He will spend, spend that 1 to attack. He'll spend 1 to re-roll. All right, and so according to the solo AI rules, the AI will not spend more than 1 re-roll, and it's only on a blank one. So he was unsuccessful, and that was a pretty long lob just to put 1 ice token down that technically would not have stopped me, but that's Mr. Freeze's turn. Kind of anticlimactic, if you ask me. So, okay. All right, and that was all for the villains. So it's my turn now. Moving on to round 3. So I'm going to make this a very quick one here. I am simply going to rest. So I flip my little token over. Oh no! 2 there. I flip my little token over and it goes to the night side, and I will recover 6 now. 2, 4, 6. All right, so that's most of everything. The only thing I can do while I'm resting is defend myself. So I've got plenty of defense, but essentially I'm just getting ready to make a charge down here and get these 2 tokens. So that was very quick. It's now the villain's turn, and we're going to activate number 1 first. So this, in the scenario, usually has some scenario specific effects that would allow you to, Mr. Freeze to do certain things, but this one just says you get 3 reinforcement points. So the solo AI states that you're going to choose those with the greatest life. So in my pool over here, I've got one of these guys that only has a life of 1, technically defensive 1, and these 2 guys which have a defensive 2, but I cannot afford both of them because this guy's a 2. So I'm actually going to fill out my pool with a brute with firearm for 2 and a thug with crowbar for 1. Now I'm going to look at this number here, and I'm going to see that it is number 3 with the arrow down. Now there's only 2 spawn points, and we start like you're reading a book, and so we would hit this one first. This is number 1, this is number 2. The down arrow means we're going to roll back around to 1 instead of 2 first. So my beefiest guy is going to start here, the most expensive one, and the guy with the crowbar is going to start here. So that was the warning. Again, I'm not doing my due diligence here, so we paid for that. Then we're going to do number 2, which is Mr. Freeze again. So we're pretty much going to do the same thing here. We're going to get him up out of here, and he's now going to do 1, 2, 3. He's going to attempt to again put some ice down. All right, he will spend 1, 2. Sorry, you spend that 1 on a reroll. Nope. You're still short, and I rerolled 2 dice accidentally. So again, Mr. Freeze is not doing much here. Okay, villain's turn is over. Those get moved. All right, now let's see what Batman wants to do. Batman, I'll move this up here, so try and not to knock over any villain miniatures. I'm going to become active again, and I get to recover 3, but I had recovered most of my stuff there last time, so I've got everything I need to work with again. So again, I have an automatic movement of 2, so we're going to go ahead and spend those 1, 2 running along the rooftop here, and then I'm going to spend 2 more boop, boop, to move me into this guy's space. Now I could spend 2 movement and then a 3rd to drop down here, but I think I want to go ahead and take care of that guy, or maybe not, maybe just skip him. No, I think I should take him out. So we are going to go with a single attack. So again, that is 1 orange, another orange for a taser gun, and a white for our brass knuckles. And one of the oranges we will get to re-roll. All right, so only one success. I get to reroll one of the oranges. All right, and that's all we needed to defeat that guy with our taser gun, give him his automatic wound, and he's out of there. Okay, so now I only need 2 movement, 1, 2. So essentially I spent the same amount of cubes, but I got rid of a miniature in the process. So 1, 2, again, I'm able to just drop down here because of my grappling hook plus my parkour 2. Essentially makes all of this free. So then I'm going to spend again 1, 2, 3. We're going to go all out to get 3 successes on the orange. I'm hoping I don't have to spend any rerolls here. Oh no! Okay, so we only got 2. I don't have any free rerolls, so I'm going to go ahead and spend this one to leave me in harm's way. And I missed! Oh no! So that's where the dice comes in. Okay, so I'm left standing here next to this token here, and I have spent all of my stuff. So everything will come back into the fatigue zone here. And let's get this out of the way. Okay, so let's see now. That should have been 4. Now we're there. Let's see what the AI is going to do. Okay, so this symbol means we are going to activate the cheapest villain. So this is the the main villain. So let's go ahead and claim our 3 cubes. So this is going to be interesting. The main villain, the cheapest one, is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this guy, Mr. Freeze, comes out. We now, though, can actually do something. So we're going to go 1, 2, and we're going to this time attempt a melee attack on Batman because we are closer. So Batman is not going to get much defense here. Batman has an automatic defense cube of yellow, and he's got no cubes to spend. So let's see what Mr. Freeze is going to do. Okay. And Mr. Freeze is pretty greedy, so he's going to spend 1 to reroll the blank. All right, and it came up good for him. So 4 hits. I get this as a free defense, and I missed. So I am taking 4 cubes off camera here from my fatigue zone into my wound zone. All right. That was pretty mean of him. But that also means that the solo AI in getting greedy has no more cubes left to spend. So their turn is done. All right, so we are back to turn 5. Now we are running a little short on time here. So one thing I'm going to go ahead and do is use my med kit. This came as a scenario effect. I flip it over and it allows me to move 2 of these from my wounds to my fatigue zone. Now I have an option. I can either rest knowing that Mr. Freeze isn't going to be able to activate in a while, and the only other guys that really could do harm to me are these 3 guys, and they're at position 4. He's only going to get 3 cubes back. So I think that's what I'm going to do. This seems silly, but I remember it's all about strategy. So let me go ahead and rest. And we will get back 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so this is going to give us hopefully what we need to make the final push in the next round. So, or the last 3 rounds. So the solo AI, we're going to do their turn real quick. And let's see, they're going to get 3 cubes back, and they're going to spend all of them again right away to activate brutes with shotguns. So let's see here. Where are all my brutes with shotguns? This guy is stuck way over here. So he's got a movement of 3, so he can move 1, 2 into here, but then he's 1 over there. And I don't believe... Okay. So this is E and D here. E is right here. I'm not sure whether he has line of sight up here to Batman or not. So I might have to go check my line of sight tool, but this guy should be able to do it. So he's gonna go 1, and then he can actually get out of here 1, 2, 3. So he definitely has line of sight on Batman. So let's resolve a single black die real quick on Batman. All right, it's about best case scenario and worst case scenario. Okay, so I'm going to have to take 1 from my fatigue zone and 3 from my reserve. All right, so now let me take a second to figure out if this guy's able to fire too, because this could just do me in right here. Okay, so it would seem that as much as I don't agree with this, this individual who's way over here does, according to the line of sight tool on the overlord.net, does have line of sight all the way to this space, and according to the rule book, miniatures do not block line of sight. So my brute with a firearm here, who is shooting with a shotgun, and I feel like this is an oversight on Monolith's part, he's going to be able to hit me from all the way over here with accuracy with a shotgun. But anyways, let's just go ahead and see what our fate would be. Okay, so he rolled a blank, but he's out of stuff. Okay, perfect. All right. Whew. I was going to give him a chance to reroll, but he has spent his wad. So, and that is all there is for them. So, Batman survives that. Okay, and that is the end of the villain turn. So, now the question is, what do we do with Batman here? We are on round 5. This is the start of round 6 now. And if we move this up here into view, you can see that he took a lot of wounds that last time from the Brood and from Mr. Freeze. So, yeah. Was I able to even activate the brutes with firearms? Yes. Yes, I think I was. Okay. So, if I rest now, everything just gets moved into here. If I play normal, I would move this over like that and have 3 actions to do something. I have a normal movement of 2, which can, with my parkour, get me up here and up here. So maybe we'll do that. Let's go ahead and attempt to do this bomb here. Since we're standing right above it, this is going to give us 3 orange dice. Yeah, and we're looking for 3 successes. Okay, perfect. All right, that's exactly what we needed. We can take this off the board. Here I planted another bomb right in front of Mr. Freeze. And then I'm going to use my 2 basic movement to go 1 and 2. I can get up here because of my grappling hook parkour 3 and regular stat parkour 1. 5 gets me plenty. So I will finish up then by moving those over, and that was my very quick round 5 turn. So now we're on, round 6 turns. Now we're on round 6 villain phase here. Let's see what the villains are doing. Okay, so when it's just one symbol like this, we are going to attempt to do all of the villains, and we're going to attempt to do them twice, but I don't think we're going to even be able to do that because we have we only recovered 3 cubes here, and the closest Mr. Freeze is at 5. So we don't have 5 to purchase from. So then the question becomes, would the villain just rest this turn? Would the villain do anything? Should I activate number 1 guy? You know, this is not really covered in the solo AI rules, I don't believe. So let me just double check. Card has no activate the villain's house, starting to left. Each card, tip to resolve. Use key phrase, lowest number hero, activate number 2 tile. Yeah. So there is no, nothing in the solo AI rules at the moment for what to do in this situation where we cannot afford to activate the person that is telling us to activate. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, because I may not want to blow everything, but I don't want to just completely have a round where I rest, because there is no resting for the villain. So I'm going to just activate the number 1, the cheapest tile here. That's going to move Mr. Freeze down. I'll save a little bit for next time. That's kind of what I would do if I was the villain. So let's just see here that the brutes are basically just, the only thing they're good for is melee attacks. So let's see here. This brute has got a movement of 3, so he would go 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, probably trying to head this direction. This brute would go 1, 2 to climb out, and then 3 heading this way. And this guy would go 1, 2, and then 3. He'd be right here again. Also, these 2 guys are heading up this staircase, and this guy's headed for that one. So yeah, that is the brute's turn. Again, I pushed Mr. Freeze down a little bit. I saved some, so I feel like that was the best call for the solo AI. I don't feel like I just cheated there. So, all right, 2 more turns to go here. So let's bring Batman up. We're gonna bring him up right here. Okay, so the question is now, do I rest and go for all the marbles in my final turn? If I rest, I can take all 6 and move them into here. And then at the beginning of the next round, these would get moved over here. This Batman does not have overdrive, which on other Batmans, it enables you to take wounds. You can move cubes directly into the wound space and exceed your dice limits to take actions. It's pretty much something you just want to save to do at the end of the game, or maybe 1 action per turn. But this Batman does not have that. So let's think about this. If I were to save this now, if I were to rest and just sit here, next turn I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 movement. So that would really be 2 of my 6. And then I need 3, plus that would give me 1 reroll. However, if I just took 3 now, let's divide these up, and we did my movement 1, 2, and then maybe spent 2 more, 3, 4. So I'd have 1 extra, and then I'd have 4. So there's really no difference. There is not much difference. I'm still able to only get 1 shot at disarming the bomb with 1 reroll, whether I move all the way in here and then just take another turn, or I rest and go for it all in the final turn. The biggest thing though is that these guys have a very good chance of activating. And if I'm right in here, they can just go 1, 2, and they're all firing their handguns at me. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to rest. So I'll just flip this over. I will recover 6 from fatigue. These will stay there, and that will be my turn. Again, I'm just kind of deliberately hiding up here along the rooftop. Okay, so let's see what the villain's gonna do. First, let's bring over 3 cubes so they can afford to do some stuff. All right, so we're gonna do 2, exactly as I thought. These guys are gonna activate, so that really would have screwed me over. Okay. So they have a movement of 2, but they also have parkour 1, which means they can hop these fences here with no problem. I may have missed that earlier in the game. Okay, so they want to be able to take a, well, let's look, they want to do a melee, and then they want to do a ranged. So they can't do melee, so they're going to go for ranged, and I am, see these, I'm in this space right here, so I'm securely behind this wall. So they have to get up here to get line of sight on me. So this one is going to go, he can actually parkour up here for 1, 2. Yeah, because this little space right here allows him to get up to this level, and, you know, according to the map guide at the end, it's a 1 climb to get to kind of hop the railing there, and he's got parkour 1. Let's see about these other guys. These other guys would pretty much go the same direction. 1, 2, 1, 2. So they would kind of be spreading out, and this guy would also go 1, 2. All right, so we do have one guy that's got aim on us, and we see that he's not carrying a very big weapon, so he's only rolling 2 white die against my 3. I mean, 2 white die against my 1 yellow, so let's see. Oh my God, are you serious? Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay. So, right now I'm just rolling this. I feel like I have to spend a defense cube here. Oh man, that really hurt. This could do me in. Okay, I don't have any rerolls, so I'm taking, yeah, that one little guy actually just did me in, because now I'm taking 2 wounds. So that comes from there and there. And I don't know if I'm going to have enough cubes to get this done on the final turn. Okay, so I spent those. These guys are done. And now I'm doing number 3, 1, 2, 3, which is Mr. Freeze. All right, Mr. Freeze is attempting to do a melee attack. He does not have parkour, so it would take him 2 just to get up here. He could fire again. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 again to make that difficult for me. So I guess that's what he would try and do. So he's gonna try and do another ranged 4 complex throw. Nothing, he's got no rerolls. Okay, so again, Mr. Freeze is worthless. All he was trying to do was slow Batman down. But, ladies and gentlemen, here we go to round 8, and I think you guys will see that I am just not going to make it. So I have a movement of 2, and all of my parkours can allow me to go 1, 2. So that's my free movement. Then I'm going to need to spend 2 more movement just to make it here and here. I can ignore the difficult terrain because of my 1 symbol there, and that's just a level 1. So now I'm in there. I need, okay, so I'm not dead yet, but I need 3 successes. I have no rerolls. Literally, the game comes down to this. 3 successes right here, 2 orange dice. And that is only 1. I don't think there was any other scenario. All of the other bombs were even further away. If I even went 1, 2, moving into this space, I have 2 people I have to deal with, so that's 2 more movement. This is definitely the closest bomb, but I officially lost. It came down to it that this guy right here, let's just see, if that guy had not gotten a shot off on me, I would have been able to roll 1 more orange one, and then 1 reroll. Okay, well, as fate would have it, I wouldn't have been able to do it anyways. So there you have it. They actually did not do any computers. These guys stayed at the top spot that whole time waiting to activate a computer. But that's how the solo AI works. Obviously, it's much more fun and tactical to play with another human being, but this works, especially if you have this game and you're stuck at home by yourself right now due to COVID-19 and social distancing and quarantine orders and so on and so forth. Or if you just really want to get some practice in, practice your strategy if you're going to be the hero, then this is a great way to take a look at the scenario before your friend comes over and plays it with you, and you could know, oh, well, you know, this really worked up here, but I needed to make sure that I had enough. I can't wait until round 8 to come down here and make my one final attempt. Who knows? Maybe I should have like popped down here and then made a run for it into here. I would have been somewhat safe, and then into here. I don't know. Or maybe then popped back out and gone into here. Who knows? Who knows? But you could continue to just kind of play with it and replay this scenario if you wanted to perfect your setup, your game. This was with Batman 0 Year. Anyways, I'm sorry I couldn't pull the win out for you guys, but such is life. You don't always win. But if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more Batman content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit that bell icon so you can be notified the next time we put a Batman video on YouTube. Once again, thanks for watching and have a great night.